All right, we will wait a couple minutes and let everyone join in. If you can in the chat, go ahead and drop in where you're joining us from. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we'll begin our webinar. Thank you everyone for attending today. We're really excited for everyone to be here, and we really appreciate you taking your time to join us and learn more about Brown. We have a lot to share about the online Masters of Public Health program at Brown University. So let's jump right in with the presentation. Why Brown? Why online? Why now? My name is Kelsey Friedel Nelson, and I'm going to be moderating the discussion today. So let's get into what we're here to talk about. Obviously, again, these are the three questions that we're hoping to answer through today's webinar: why Brown, why online, and why now? So why Brown? We know about the history and the mission of Brown University and Brown's prowess in the public health space, but really what makes this a great place to get this type of degree? We'll be answering that question for you. Also, why online? How does Brown's world-class curriculum combine, with that student-first experience and that convenience of online education, and how will that benefit you? And why now? In terms of the public health crisis that we've had over the past 4 years, one of the biggest opportunities we have in this space, in this career really, is upon us. And so what makes this the right time to pursue this type of degree? In addition to answering those questions, we're going to hope to answer some of your questions about what the admissions process looks like, what are the deadlines coming up for spring 24 and summer 24 cohorts, which is a new one. And then we'll review application steps and requirements, scholarship opportunities, and who you can reach out to for help. So we have several questions that we're going to answer for you today, but please remember to pop your additional questions into the Q&A. We'll be happy to answer those kind of during the webinar or at the end. And we really want this to be an engaging and collaborative space. So we appreciate any questions you can pop in and ask away in the chat feature. So with that said, let's jump into who you'll be speaking with today. First, we have Dr. Jennifer Nazarino, and she's the inaugural Associate Director of the online MPH program here at Brown University. She's been at Brown for about 8 years. She started as a postdoc for about 2 years and then became faculty, and she's now the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Innovation. She has a really long history in the public health industry with prior experience in long-term care and healthcare-related systems. And if that wasn't enough, her work at Brown as a faculty member, she's also the co-director of the Philippine Health Initiative for Research Service and Training. And so we are really grateful that Jen has on the call today to help answer all of your questions. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you.
Did I miss anything?
No, that's great. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Matt Wallace, who is the Assistant Director of Student Recruitment and Marketing at Brown University. He's been at Brown for 3 years and has several high-level enrollment positions prior to joining the team at Brown. He helps all graduate admissions at Brown University, and so he's really familiar with that application process and is going to be a great resource for questions regarding the application. Hi, Matt.
Hey, thanks, Kelsey.
And last, we have Kim Pulowski. She's the enrollment coach for Brown University. She's been in the higher educational industry for about 13 years, and her focus is with helping adult students continuing their education. Kim and her team help students raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in the program, and she helps shepherd people into those next steps throughout the enrollment process and is really there to answer questions and help students achieve their goals.
Hey, Kelsey, thank you.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining us. So we're going to start with the big one, why Brown? And we'd love it if you would pop into the chat, why you're here today. Why are you interested in the webinar? Why did you register? Why are you joining us? Why are you interested in looking at Brown? And while we're waiting for those answers to pop up, Matt, what are some reasons students have given you kind of over the years for choosing Brown and this program?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. Thank you so much, Kelsey. So there's a lot of reasons. The first thing is there's a lot of great schools of public health out there, right? And they're all very different. So you want to find the one that fits you perfectly. There's a lot of reasons why Brown, I think, stands apart. I think the first reason is just people. The faculty are at the top of their field. They're incredible. Jen's going to talk about them in a little bit. But you really get the close mentorship from faculty as well. There's a real sense of community here. It's a very collaborative school. And in fact, I was just interviewing for student ambassadors and a couple online student ambassadors, and both of them said the same thing. They were like supportive, welcoming, community, belonging. These are tried and true aspects of Brown University. And sure, yeah, Brown, Ivy League institution, has an incredible academic reputation and professional reputation, been around since 1764. The School of Public Health, we're just celebrating our 10th anniversary. So we've got that rich tradition with that new, agile, and kind of innovative effect of being a newer school. So US News and World Report, we're ranked in the top 8%. We're probably one of the more progressive out of all the Ivy League institutions. We truly care about the social determinants of health and making sure we believe that all human beings have the right to be healthy, not only physically, but also mentally and emotionally, and regardless of the social determinants of health, everybody has the right for quality health care, and we firmly believe that. And so we view everything through a lens of health equity. I'll pass things on to my good friend and colleague, Jen, to talk a little bit more about this.
Great. So thanks, Matt. Definitely, I agree with everything Matt says. I was a postdoc at Brown and then became faculty. I'm so proud to be a faculty member here and be a director at Brown University School of Public Health. And and when you mentioned innovation, yes, we are a program that is very much case-based learning in terms of cases are introduced, real-world cases are introduced to each of our courses. We have a law professor that's part of our faculty, and she actually creates and writes her own cases. And then we also thread cases throughout the same case and throughout the courses. So the way that you would view this case in a social determinants of health class versus a health policy class is just providing different angles, different arguments, different ways to think about the public health challenge and the solution around it. In terms of learning public health by doing public health, we in order to graduate in the online MPH program, in our MPH program in general, is to have 145-hour internship. And so as you are taking your courses, you're expected to also do an internship, a public health related internship. So so that you're actually applying your skills in real time. And we have a field placement coordinator that will help you identify an internship either at your place of work or at another organization in your region that you may be interested in learning more about. In terms of the integrated learning experience, think of this as a capstone at the end. So the last semester, your last semester of this program, you're expected to complete a capstone. And so how we've really tried to think about this project, this ILE, this end of that last project in the program, is to really think of a public health challenge, a real public health challenge in your region, or something that you're very passionate about. And the expectation is for you to create solutions around this. We really want you to take all the courses, interventions, evaluations, policy, communications and leadership, social determinants of health, and really apply that to this final project. In terms of low student to faculty ratio, there's some courses where there's 30 to 40 students and you have one faculty member in that course. But then if there's more than 60 students, we bring in a second faculty member. So it's just to really maintain and make sure that it's high touch, that you get to know your faculty members. We offer synchronous sessions every week. It's optional, but we really encourage you to attend each synchronous session because that's your time to meet with the faculty, for you to get to know your colleagues, and just to be accountable every week. And so definitely, if you have the time to make those sync sessions, definitely attend them, because faculty do a lot to really make sure that you're engaged, that the material applies to you. And then, yes, I'm proud of the faculty that is part of this program, and I'm happy to talk more about them in the next few slides. So Alex Glacier, she is our professor that teaches leadership in our program. She is a law professor as well. She has her MPH. She has an MPH background. She did receive her MPH at Brown. She also is the president and CEO of a nonprofit organization focused on organ and blood donations and transplants. Students really love this course because she is a professor of practice that's actually a leader in the field, actually doing public health as she's teaching. Because of her law background, she does write case studies based on her practice, based on having led or continuing to lead a nonprofit organization. Michael Harvey, another great professor who teaches our policy courses. He is one of our very most dynamic professors that also integrates cases into his portfolio, but he really brings this like critical lens into public health. And I think people really enjoy the theoretical frameworks he brings into the course. And there's me, I teach social determinants of health. I really focus on just thinking beyond genetics or biology, but what around our communities, what systemic issues are we facing? What social issues are impacting the equity around health and somebody's mortality and morbidity? And so that's what I focus on in my class. I also teach an intersectionality course, which is more of a theoretical. I bring a lot of theory into the course, as well as I will be bringing theoretical frameworks to my the social determinants of health course I teach for the program. And then some other faculty I wanted to introduce you all to. Shamara Robertson. She teaches communications for our program, but she was the former Deputy Secretary of Health for the Florida Department of Health. So she also brings in more of like a government perspective, working in the government, pushing for health equity policies in Florida, and knowing how to best communicate, to reach across the aisle, to work with folks that may not always agree with the policies that she tends to push. And so she really is effective in helping students to think, how do we talk about public health related issues, health equity issues, with folks from different political viewpoints. And so she is a really wonderful person that teaches communications in our program. Hannah Ziobrowski, she is an epidemiology professor. She got her PhD at Brown, was at Harvard for a bit, and we're lucky to have her back at Brown. Karen Andes, she is our MPH director, so she oversees all our MPH programs, and she is an expert with qualitative research methods. And we're very, she was at Emory for about 20 something years. We're very lucky to have her here at Brown University. And then Monica Doshi, she was actually a public health interventions global health consultant for a bit. She has 25 years of working in the global South before she came back to academia. So students again love her course because she has that real world experience of working internationally and then bringing that into her interventions and evaluations courses. And Ron Aubert, he's our Senior Associate Dean of Education and Student Services, big supporter of our program, as well as Francesca Bowden. She's an interim academic dean. So as for Ron, he's an epidemiologist by training. He really brings in the perspective of thinking about equity, thinking about how do we create a sense of belonging, particularly in the online as well as in the in-person program. Francesca, she has a physician background, and she also is the chair of epidemiology at the School of Public Health. Again, another huge supporter of our program. And last but definitely not least is Dean Jha. So I just wanted to showcase how one of our many events that we host in the online MPH, he actually took some time to meet with our students last week. We have this new program called Leadership in Action. He kicked off the program and spent an hour just talking with our students about how he got into public health. What was that call like when he was tapped to work with President Biden at the White House as the COVID-19 coordinator. And I'm telling you, students, it was so quiet. Everybody was just listening to his story, his narrative, and he was just so candid. and really just, I mean, was relatable, which in a wonderful way, where students got to ask questions. They moderated this, they moderated the talk. So every month we highlight a different leader around Brown, around the country, around the world. And so students can, get to know some of the leaders that we have been in touch with, that work with us. And students will play the active role of moderating those discussions.
Thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate that. And obviously, world-class faculty is not lacking at Brown University. And so it's really great to see a lot of those faculty and what they're specialized in. And that's really, I think, important too. There's such a dynamic group. So now we're going to go into why online. So really focusing on that convenience of online education and why that's so important, to people in the workforce, but also people seeking a degree in this world-class education from Brown. So Kim, do you want to take over and talk a little bit about why online?
Absolutely. Thank you. So I think today the stigma of online education is definitely going away. So it's certainly been out here for couple decades, as far as online education, but finally that sort of it's not looked down upon anymore. And thankfully, Brown has taken this MPH program and put it into a fully online format. And really this because it's designed for full-time working professionals. And so folks are trying to juggle their careers, their families, continue their education and grow in their own, knowledge and insight. And really the only way somebody's going to be able to do that is in an online format these days. So how is it, helpful? It's super accessible, especially this program. It is in an asynchronous environment. And so what that really means is that you know exactly what your assignments are, when those assignments are due, but you're getting on and getting that work done when it's most convenient for you as an individual, as a grown-up professional career person. I do want to highlight what Jen had said earlier about the synchronous component. Those weekly discussion meetings are absolutely fantastic. People love them. And if you can't attend, it's okay. They're actually recorded and posted in the online classroom for you, so you still have access to them. But online, as I just mentioned, it's super flexible. It fits into your schedule. You're not trying to fit into a school's mandatory, be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 3 o'clock for 2 hours. How doable is that for a working professional? It's not. It's affordable. You definitely have more control over your own schedule, over how you format your week to be successful with not only your job, but also obviously school. And it's definitely good preparation for a changing workforce. I mean, we've all gone through working from home over the last few years. So why not do school from home? I mean, that only makes sense, that this is now becoming much more acceptable. It's created, it's just powerful courses and ways to engage with each other, even if we're not in the same room. So I think there's a lot of reasons why online. Obviously, those of you here probably feel very much the same. And if you can even think about it in a further step, think about your work schedule. If you're working 8 to 5 every day, are you really that excited to drive to the campus, spend 3 hours in the classroom, and then turn around and drive another hour home and try and get some schoolwork done and see your family and kiss your little ones good night? So online is definitely the way to go for the future.
Matt or Jen, do you have any notes for that?
No, I mean, I agree with that. And that's if the school even provides nighttime classes, right? So yeah, I mean, I second that.
Yeah. And just to add that we built this for you. I mean, we want to reach out and to all the different potential public health leaders of the future. And we wanted to find talent everywhere. And we wouldn't want, because of geography, to limit you from coming to Brown University. And so again, flexibility. The vast majority of our students all work full-time or part-time, managing family, managing caregiving, managing so many demands. And so we built this with the intention of being as flexible and accessible to you all.
As a full-time mother who's also in grad school, I do appreciate that asynchronous learning. You get that kind of one-on-one time to do your own work, but you also get that classroom experience by being able to have discussions and have that face time with your classmates. So I think it's a good benefit of both.
Yeah, totally. And to Jen's point, I mean, the cohorts are super diverse, which helps in so many different ways. Our students come from such a variety of professional backgrounds and academic backgrounds, and you're able to work together and collaborate. And, because you have different perspectives on things, you're able to kind of solve public health problems more effectively, more creatively, more innovative, with more innovation. So it's just such an awesome cohort. I love to hear the stories of our students at each cohort and what they were doing before and what they're planning to do at Brown and afterwards. So it's really great in that regard as well.
And that is a great segue to our next question. Why now? So for those of you that are listening in, feel free to pop in your whys. What is your reasoning for pursuing a degree, looking to extend that, or maybe change that career. And we'll listen to kind of some of the things Matt has to say about why we want to look at this now.
Yeah, the slide says we're in the middle of the most important public health moment of our lifetime. That is certainly true. An MPH is just a smart degree to get anyway. I mean, you're going to learn a Swiss Army knife of competencies here, where you can go in so many different directions. You can go into consulting, you can work for a nonprofit, you can go into academia, you can go into healthcare, you can go into government. So you're going to learn a skill set, and especially with this program that really focuses on like communication and leadership. Not only do we need public health professionals, but we need public health leadership, especially with an eye on equity. We need you in the room, at the table, making decisions, changing policy, making a difference in the world. We see what the state of the world is right now. I'll tell you one thing, when I talk to our students, it gives me hope for the future. So everybody here at this webinar, you give me hope for the future, because it's hard. Sometimes you can get cynical reading the news, but you're actively trying to make the world a better place, a healthier place for everyone. And as you could see, these public health initiatives that need our immediate attention, anything from global health, environmental health, LGBTQIA health, sexual and reproductive health, and so many more. So depending on what you are really trying to go for, it could be a really good fit here at Brown.
So in terms of job growth, so we definitely are seeing public health jobs, the demand for public health jobs growing. If anything, the pandemic have showed us the importance of having public health leaders, making sure public health leaders have the communication skills to be able to best communicate the data around public health challenges and be able to communicate in such a way that people from different parts of political views can understand the data and the facts. And so that's really an important part of our program, is teaching leadership and communication skills. But also we're very interdisciplinary in terms of the kind of pragmatic, practical skills we teach. For example, in our policy courses, we definitely are all about making sure you know how to write a policy brief, how to best, be able to do the kind of research and work to be able to showcase the importance of pushing a certain policy through, right? Using public health data, using evidence-based knowledge to be able to inform the general public. There's also our interventions course. How do you best assess an intervention? How do you best create an intervention? Also, how do you best evaluate a public health program, right? Also, we have my course that I teach is social determinants of health. How do we think about some of our most vulnerable and marginalized populations in a way where we can provide resources and work with the community experts to make sure we're providing the right resources, we're building the right interventions, we're building, and evaluating and providing services and partnering alongside the experts in the community to make sure we are pushing towards public health equity and healthcare equity. Just a whole, if you look in our website, just the curriculum that we offer, I think will just really, again, as Matt said, like the Swiss Army knife of of skill sets that you can directly apply already. And we've heard that many times over from our students who just took an interventions course or just took an epi course and says, I'm actually applying this right now. In terms of the students that we're attracting, it's really interesting. We have students that, yes, maybe have a public health background, but we're having folks coming to us from tech, from the private sector in terms of business, and they have a background in their MBA, but they now want to really venture into public health. We have many clinicians, we have nurse practitioners, we have physicians, we have dentists, but also make sure we bring in healthcare professionals that are at bedside. So we have nurses aides in our programs too, because they need to be advocating and talking about the kind of work and what the stories they hear from the patients, right? So we definitely have a spectrum of students that have found us. And I think it really creates wonderful dialogue and discussion in the discussion boards as well in the synchronous sessions.
Thank you so much. This curriculum really meets the needs of our students and really has that experiential learning component, which I think is amazing. And glad that we were able to touch on that. So now, Kim, why don't you walk us through the application next steps? We did the why now, why Brown, what's next? That's our next question. So feel free to take us away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So obviously for a master's program, you have to have a completed bachelor's degree, conferred bachelor's degree. You need 2 years of professional work experience prior to starting. So I want to highlight this. Sometimes people will apply well in advance of the start date. If you're not at 2 years at that point, but you're going to continue to work full time up until the start date and beyond, then go ahead and apply and make sure the committee knows that. So again, doesn't have to be 2 years at the point you apply, but 2 years definitely by the time you start the class. You need an updated resume or CV, whichever format you want to use. 3 letters of recommendation. So these can be a combination of academic and professional, or all professional. Some people have been out of school for a long time and they certainly haven't stayed in contact with their past professors. So think of who can write really great things about you as far as your qualities, your work ethic, your characteristics. Somebody who will be able to speak very well on your behalf, because I will guarantee you that committee reads every single one of these. And so you want to make sure that they know you. They can even talk about why you'd be a great candidate for this MPH program. So just pick wisely is my biggest recommendation there. I'm going to skip personal statement and come back to that. We can actually accept your unofficial transcripts, and it has to be from everywhere you've studied. So for the committee to review your application, you need at least unofficial transcripts. If you have officials and you can get those submitted, great, that's awesome, but they will review it with unofficials. Please know if you are admitted into the program, you will be required to submit your official transcripts prior to starting your classes. Let me go back then to the personal statement. The personal statement is an opportunity for you to share with the committee a little bit more about who you are, the passion that you have for public health, the goals that you have. This is even a good opportunity to share with them, look, if maybe you didn't do great the first 2 years of your undergrad, but the last 2 years you did exceptionally well. Talk about that. What happened in the first 2 years? Maybe you were just young and immature and you finally found your footing those last 2 years. Maybe you had an illness, or maybe somebody passed away in the family. Share that with the committee so they can see the progression of your education. Talk about why Brown. I mean, not to toot our own horns, but we have a pretty fantastic program here. and why Brown? Like, what is it about this program that resonates with you? Matt said from the beginning of this webinar, look, there's a lot of MPH programs out there and a lot of great MPH programs out there. So what is it about Brown that really speaks to you, and why do you want to be a part of this program? Talk about your goals. What is it that you want to do? What kind of community do you want to impact? How do you want to help your fellow man? So all that to be said, somewhere between 500 and 1,000 words, somewhere in there, show them your passion is the biggest takeaway on the personal statement. There is an application fee. It's $100. We no longer use sofas. So I want to highlight that fact. We do not use sofas anymore, which, by the way, wink, wink, was a little bit more expensive. So 100 is a deal. But you can also apply for an application fee waiver when you go to submit your application. So just know those are still there. And for international students, some students may be required to submit a proof of language proficiency. IELTS or the TOEFL is the one that's more well known. And then for anyone who has studied overseas, you will need to have a transcript evaluation. Now, again, it can be an unofficial copy because some people have already had them done years ago. They have an unofficial copy on hand. We can take the unofficial copy, but you'll have to submit the official if you are accepted into the program. So all of that comes together. Myself, Kristen, and Katie, we are all on this team as enrollment coaches. We will all be following up with you. We're here to support you. We're here to answer your questions, discuss your concerns, kind of help brainstorm with you if need be. But just know that we've got your back. And so we want to help you put together a really strong application so that when committee reads it, they are just like, oh yeah, I want this person as part of our student body. And then once it's submitted, once it's complete and sent over to committee, it's usually about a 6 to 8 week turnaround. Sometimes a little faster, maybe a smidge longer if need be, but it's rolling admissions. And so I just want to put 2 more plugs in. I probably noticed at the bottom of this slide, but for our spring applications, the final deadline is October 15th. That is coming wicked fast. I don't know where this year went, but oh my goodness. So October 15th, stop delaying and get your documents submitted. And summer application is officially open. So that's going to run for the next few months. But I'm happy to say we do have a summer start next year, and we will have a fall start as well. So you have a few options. Yeah, and that's the summation there of the checklist.
Could I add to the personal statement? So I'll just be very frank. I am on this committee. There are 8 faculty members on this committee. So, and I'm one of them. And in terms of the personal statement, be very clear about why public health. Like, what is it? Because public health is very interdisciplinary, right? So specifically, so tell us why the benefit of getting an MPH, and what do you plan to do with it? What do you want to do? What is the overall arching goal? Because being more specific instead of just talking about broadly about public health, it's just going to make for a much stronger application personal statement if you're much more specific around what you actually want to do with the degree. So
yeah, double that. Good point, Jen, and great points, Kim, as well. Kim is amazing. Kim is such an amazing coach.
Amazing.
And I mean, all of our coaches are so helpful and so authentic and amazing. So I just want to give a little shout out to them. But yes, come up with specific evidence. Like, we'll know if you did a chat GPT of your personal statement, show us why, evidence of your abilities as an independent scientist. And then also for your personal statement, complement your transcripts and your CV. Don't just reinstate what we already know from your transcripts and your CV. Complement it with the other things. Make it personal. A lot of you are probably perfectionists, right? If you don't get to this kind of level unless you have a little bit of that in you. But just take a deep breath and be yourself. That's really the biggest thing. You're going to become paralyzed if you don't allow yourself to not be perfect, and so just be yourself in your personal statement. And then if it's a great fit, then you'll hear from us. And if not, then that's a benefit to you, because that means the admissions committee, so how they look at it is they don't say, hey, are you good enough for Brown? They say, hey, are we good enough for these people applying? Do we have the resources? Do we have the faculty? Do we have the connections? Do we have the program that they're looking for to be successful? So that's really what it is.
Thank you, Kim, Jen, and Matt. That's some great insight and really helpful information for students filling out their application and building out that statement. All right, the time we've all waited for. We're going to go ahead to the live Q&A session. So feel free to submit your questions. I know we have some coming in. So I'm just going to start and we'll kind of round robin this. So is Brown a better choice for those that want to move up in their careers or move into a different career, or both? Who wants to take that one?
It's both.
It's
It's
both.
both. We have students on average, I mean, so to be considered for the program, you have to have at least 2 years of work experience. But on average, we have students that have like 5 to 10 years. We have folks that have been in their career for 20, 25 years and are doing like just wanting to do a career shift. And so they come and get their master's in public health. So we see folks that are looking towards like, maybe the pandemic inspired them. That's like, I really want to do something after having experienced this pandemic that's more healthcare related. And I want to do a career shift. We have that. We also have individuals who already are in their respective field, but they want to move up into leadership. They want to move up in their maybe respective hospital or their respective nonprofit healthcare organization. And so that's why they often also come for their MPH and get their master's. Matt, anything to add on to that?
No, that's perfect, Jen.
Yeah.
I love it. We talked a little bit about workload, right? With the internship and taking classes and working maybe full-time or part-time, how much time can a student expect to dedicate each week to their coursework?
So full-time is 2 courses per semester. So we do have students that take maybe 1 course and maybe test it out, saying, let me try 1 course and see how the workload feels, given that I'm managing 10 other demands. So you can expect to dedicate 12 to 15 hours per week per course. So let's say about 24 to 30 hours, just depending, right, on the course in general, right? I will say that biostats tends to take a bit more time. It just does, particularly if you haven't taken a statistics class in a long time. Whereas like some courses, it varies, right? It varies, like the policy course, a lot more, there's reading, but not maybe as many assignments do that, every week. So it just depends on each course, but on average, expect to dedicate at least 12 hours per course per week.
And we do have some questions coming in about the difference between priority deadline and final deadline. Can you explain the difference between the application deadlines, Kim?
Yeah, so we actually typically have 3 deadlines per start date. So we have an early action deadline. Now that's passed quite a while ago, actually, for the spring start, but it's still in existence for the summer start, the priority deadline, and then the final deadline. So I'll start with the final. The final deadline is like, that's it, no more exceptions. Nobody else can, submit their application. It would have to roll over to the next start if you decided to apply for that. Priority deadline is basically when the committee is reviewing applications and they receive them either by the early action deadline or the priority deadline. Quite often there's a heavier consideration for scholarships in there as well. And I know we haven't discussed that, and I can throw that in here in just a moment, but there's just a benefit to getting your application done sooner than later. You get your decision back way sooner. And like I said, the scholarship consideration is a little bit heavier for early action and for the priority deadline. That doesn't mean there aren't scholarships available for final deadline, but I would imagine, and this is where Jen can correct me, there is a limited amount of money for everyone, anywhere, including myself. And basically, if those scholarships are already given out for early action or priority, then there may not be any money left for the final deadline. So just early bird gets the worm is.
Thank you. Absolutely, right?
Kim is exactly right.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
In the early application, the early decision deadline for summer 24 is November 15th, as Matt posted in the chat. We do have a 2-part question, so I want Matt to take the first part. What are the main differences between the in-person and online programs?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. So I think the online is obviously more flexible, right? You have the asynchronous classes. You can do things on your own time, and it has that innovative case-based learning. I mean, I think that's really the way to go as far as education is. Sometimes education is stuck in the dark ages, and we still do things the way that we did things in in 1700s when we began. So this is the case-based learning is really important as well. For both programs, it's both world-class faculty. The in-person MPH program, you have a little bit more flexibility as far as like concentrations. We have 8 concentrations within the in-person. So everything from like addictions to health services, health behavior, maternal and child health, interdisciplinary, global health, and a couple more that I can't think of right now. But and whereas the online MPH is a generalist, and it has more focus on leadership component and communication component. So I really think it's focused more for like people that have been professionals for longer, and people that are able to step into more of a leadership role in public health.
Thank you. And then Jen, I'm going to have you take the second part. How are students in the online program evaluated? Are the exams online? Is it more writing based? What does that evaluation process look like? I'm sure each class is different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, each class is different, but we design, so we have professional learning designers that design specifically for the online space. And so it's not about just having one midterm, one final. We build in many assignments so that you can, it's not like 50% final. And if you don't do well, then you fail the class. We really believe in building on your learning, being able to do well overall over time in your course, right? And so there's many assignments versus just 2 big major assignments. There's policy briefs, there's shorter papers than maybe a 20-page paper. It's like shorter assignments that just add up so that you can learn from your previous like maybe data set that you were analyzing in epidemiology, and you know, maybe that second week you didn't do quite as well, but you build on that, you learn the skill set, and then you apply it to the next assignment. So you're evaluated online via like, you know, you turn in your assignments to your faculty member using our Canvas website, and that's how that's how you submit your assignments.
Thank you very much. I think we have time for about one more question. There's a couple of different questions popping in, but the first is there an opportunity for students to visit campus or take a class on campus if they choose to do so? What does that look like if somebody actually wants to come in person?
I'm sorry, if they want to come to.
If they want to come to campus in person, is there an opportunity for students to visit campus?
Jen, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, absolutely. You're a Brown University student. So you have access to everything that Brown University students have access to. So that means all student resources, that means academic resources like tutoring and things of that nature, career resources, libraries, anything that you need that any Brown University student has access to, you have access to that. But taking classes in person, I don't think you could do that, but correct me if I'm wrong, Jen.
Yeah, so at this point, no, you can't take in-person courses because our curriculum was specifically designed as a generalist online MPH program focused on leadership and communications. And so there's not a lot of overlap between our, the in-person and the online. So, but again, you're welcome to come to Brown University at any time. You can get your student ID and study here to attend any of our programs, any of our events. Yeah, and then I did see the last question in terms of, there's another one, but this question is focused on if you apply for this spring cohort, will you be considered for the summer? So if you do apply to the spring cohort and you get in, you can defer for the summer. But so there's particularly like, and Kim, I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly. It's this our summer cohort, our summer app is not open yet. Our application process is not open yet. Right now, we're focused on spring.
It actually, it did
open. Did it just open?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think there's both apps open?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
It's-
if someone, Kim, wants to apply for summer right now, how do they go about that? How do they indicate that they would like summer versus spring?
So in the actual application, you'll have two options. One will be for spring, one will be for summer. And then of course, once October 16th rolls around and the spring is closed, that won't even be an option anymore. So it'll just be summer, but you will be able to indicate in the application itself.
Okay, thank you.
So there
Right.
is a price difference. There is a price difference.
Oh, yeah, good
between,
call. Yeah. there is.
the online and in the in-person. And so the in-person, the online program is 60,000 for both, total. Whereas the in-person, I believe, is a little bit more than
More like
80.
90,000. So it's 30,000 less to go to the online program.
Yeah. So there is a price difference.
Plus you save gas driving to and from campus, right?
Yeah, 30,000 is no, I mean, that's more than I got, I'll tell you that much. And then I wanted to add one more thing too, that I forgot to mention, is that commencement. I mean, this is good. I mean, please come to campus for commencement. We had our online cohort join us for our last commencement. It was amazing. We have great speakers and food and community, and you can celebrate this incredible achievement of earning this really useful, really impactful degree from Brown. So definitely join us for commencement in person.
All right, thank you guys so much for answering those questions. As we wrap up here, we wanted to just do a couple of quick check-in dates. Obviously, October 15th is coming very quickly. It's less than 2 weeks away. So if you still want to get in for that spring cohort, make sure to get your application in. Kim and her team, Kristen and Katie, are ready and willing to get you moving through that application process. Again, our summer 2024 application is open right now. And then the fall application, if you wanted to come for next fall's cohort, we're open on December 1st. So you have a couple of options coming up as far as cohorts are concerned, but we're just excited about all the time you guys took today to spend with us, the great questions that were asked. Kim's contact information is at the bottom of this slide here. If you do have further questions or things pop up as you're eating dinner tonight, you think of something that you didn't ask, feel free to email her, and she and her team will make sure to get you the answers that you need. So Kim, Jen, Matt, thank you so much for your time today. It's listening to you three talk about the program is so inspiring, and we really appreciate you taking time to be here. And everybody that's on the call, have a great rest of your week, and please reach out if you have any other questions.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining
Thanks,
us.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.